Selecting innovation opportunities. So we've got plenty of tools and techniques to help us deal with this challenge of selection. Really, we need to perhaps look at their strengths and weaknesses, their advantages and disadvantages to help us in selecting those selection approaches. For example, those simple techniques, gut feel, very, very simple first pass looks, they may be useful because they're fast, but their big limitation, they don't have much detail, they certainly don't have much in the way of analysis. Simple qualitative techniques, for example the checklist, have the big advantage that they're fast and that they can bring other people into the equation. So it provides an early focus for discussion on the kinds of things that we think as an organisation will be important in this decision. Their limit again is they don't have much information. We're really making our checklist as a first pass. But that can be helpful in signposting us towards the kind of things we want to find out more about. Similarly, the simple financial tools like return on investment or payback time are very helpful in giving us a sense of whether or not we should do this. The limit though, of course, is that we may not always be looking for a big return on investment. Sometimes we make innovation decisions, we run an innovation project really to help us move into new space. It's an exploration, an investment in learning. And what's going on here very often is that we're prepared to take not a good return, maybe even some kind of a loss in terms of financial returns, but what we're doing is investing in future capability to create future opportunities. As we move to more advanced tools, so all sorts of things become possible. We could, for example, look at the options around the future. Just like in the stock market where people bet on the way futures might develop, so it's possible to explore futures and look at selection decisions in terms of future options. Now those sorts of tools are very helpful and they give us an interesting angle, particularly on things we might want to move into for the future. The difficulty, of course, is that we don't have much information and it's rather dependent on our ability to at least guess the right direction for the way the future will develop. We could look at more complex techniques, qualitative and quantitative, which give us perhaps a representation of several dimensions. For example, the use of various kinds of matrix, risk and reward, or risk and market share, or all sorts of things. These are helpful, not least because they're often offering pictures, and they're particularly valuable because again they provide a focus for discussion. But, as before, the limitation is we may not have all the information to construct them, so we may need to use the early look of these things as a signpost to where we need to collect more information. And finally, we have the really power tools, the portfolio approaches, the business case, the business model approach. Now, the real value of these tools is that they look at the innovation choice from many different perspectives. Qualitative, quantitative, from this angle, from that angle. They're also tools which can involve many different people so that you can get different perspectives and challenge the emerging model. The main weakness of these approaches, they take time. But the argument here is by the time we're wanting to build that business model, we should have assembled the information to help us make a clear decision, because if not, we're gambling our resources away.